and apparently there's a wait list. So I haven't been able to get an account. I'm still old school using Claude and GPT. But I wanted to try out.
I was using the model. The pricing is incredible. And they even had like a 2 week span where like essentially tokens were free, so you could just run it up um, during that period. So it does what it needs to do. I haven't gotten into the new model though.
Which
Right.
one?
So
K3?
the K3
Yeah,
model, right?
yeah.
I like literally I got open code to see if I could get access to K3 because apparently open code has the Kimi models and it's all the old ones. Um, and it seems like open code's for like people who just want to like exclusively use the old models. Let me see if I can show you the guys this. I'm not sure if you guys are trying out open code yet. It's like, I don't know, multi-model agent thing. Um, and looks like I have to launch it again. So it starts on this like page. I'm like, I don't know. Let's audit image gen for products. I started this thing last night. It's literally been running for like 18 hours on the like actual Codex app, which is generating like product images because I had these shitty AI product images that were really like, they were fine for like, I don't know, 4 months ago, but now they're shitty, right? Because AI images have got so much better. And it's like shooting images over to me in Slack. So I don't know, let's audit it and see if it thinks that it sucks. So I got it running here. And I stopped it while we're chatting right now. I'll show you it in Slack, but I'll get it to audit it and see if it can. But yeah, it's literally like, if I switch models, it's literally like all these free models. I'm not sure if you guys have tried any of these. And then it's got like GPT's latest models and, you know, a few of the new ones, but no, it doesn't have Kimi. It only has the like old Kimi models, so I can't try it out. Have you guys had an opportunity to try it out yet?
Kimi?
Yeah, like K3 or
No,
whatever the new one is that everyone's pumped about.
I haven't used K3. When I went to go try use it, it was locked for consumers. A friend of mine has a company that runs open source model. They're inference provider for open source models, and they're meant to for it. Um, but let me see. But I haven't tried it. Here we go. This company, inference.net.
Would you say imprints.net? Do you want to show me the
Inference. Inference.net.
Inference. Dude, I was doing something yesterday and it tried to inference.
Your
In a
audio just
browser.
got kind of
Not
bad.
inference.net, inference.fh.
Jack, your audio just got bad. It seems like you switched mics.
Huh. Oh, it did switch mics. Huh. That's weird.
Jack, we should talk about Cody's landing page bounty and how we
Yes.
productize it and the future of marketing as decentralized. This is actually pretty good for you, Chase. I think it's cool, and I think there's like this generalizes to all um creative assets, and we should talk about Cody's bounty and if he's doing it with AI and how he's actually going to analyze performance. That's what I'm interested in. Tell us, Cody.
No, no, I'm here. Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
We're
Oh,
live,
I couldn't tell.
The same we're having
Yeah, no, I'm just like fucking around. I'm
go.
like, what would be fun? And I don't know. That's like where I've spent the most time is building like landers or doing CRO. But I feel like that could be a pretty easy one. I mean, I can like been building some landers this week for a new thing, and like you can build a pretty good lander hour, maybe 2 hours. I'm trying to get that down. It's like that first, you can one shot it, and it's like 80% of the way there, especially if you have a design system. And then, you know, if you're trying to perfect it, if you care about like how it looks, then it's like multiple hours on the next step, but otherwise you could like
Yeah.
one-shot it pretty quickly.
What's the hard part? Like, how did you get those like crazy cool designs? I saw the ones that you made with like the squiggly lines and the cool breaks and stuff like that. Is that from the
Oh,
design system or is that your
yeah, just
taste?
I don't know which one you're talking about, but probably design system. Yeah, maybe that was for like my personal one. It's just building the design system and component library. Like that's the thing with all this stuff and context. It's just like taking the time to do that. And I mean, I did it in a weekend, but um, just building, you know, a markdown file and then obviously turning it into like a component library and just giving it the context.
I mean,
Um,
that's what you should be selling people. Like, build them the design system, build them the skill to do it and enable them, and so you don't have to do the delivery stuff.
I'm doing some consulting for that, but I think you still gotta sell an outcome, especially because that's all just getting easy and commoditized. I don't know, like I'm doing a little consulting on it, but and like showing people how to do it. But I don't know, I think it's the outcome. It's like that's where you know for people listening, like it was like a 20K offer. Just I had seen some people do it, and I'm like, why not take a few cracks at it just for fun? If it doesn't work, and I don't, it's so essentially the offer is like if anyone wants a new lander, as long as I qualify them and have enough traffic, and if I think they can win, and we'd have to agree upon what success would look like. If it beats their existing page, I get 20K. If not, they get a free lander. You know, and so in my mind, it probably takes a few hours, as long as the brand has the right context that they would be able to give me, because I want like the right insights and the right data and stuff, and not just like wing it from scratch. But yeah, I think the design system would be pretty easy to build now, especially with how good the models are.
How do you measure performance? Like, what does your lander winning actually mean? And is it different to different brands?
It would have to be, yeah, it would have to be A/B tested, and I would have to agree upon it with the brands. I was talking to a few people because a lot of people reached out, and some people were like, "Oh yeah, you'd have to triple our conversion rate or whatever." I'm like, that's not going to happen. Like, but it's like what is a 20K lift worth, you know, or like what would make somebody happy to pay 20K? Is it
Yeah.
a 2% conversion rate lift? Is it 5%? Part of it depends on traffic. Like
Yeah.
the brand needs enough traffic to test, but also like that a decent lift is good enough. So I don't know. I feel like 5% is pretty fair, but some people were asking me to like triple their conversion rate. I'm like, I'm not gonna build a page up front for a 300 and only get paid if it's a 300% lift.
I mean, there has to be some way that you can just determine this. Like, you can just determine what is like objectively what is 20K worth to them, or like at least probabilistically what is 20K worth to them, and like align on some number. And even to some brands, like it's got to be way more than 20K. If you're getting like a 5% lift in conversion for some of this traffic, like surely that's worth 50K, 100K to some brands.
Well,
Yeah.
also this is like dependent on like how long you're running traffic to the page. If you're gonna run it for 3-4 months, you kind of stretch that Excel spreadsheet. It starts
Yeah,
becoming
true.
worth a lot more than just the 20K bounty. But I don't know.
Dude, I need you guys to tell me why this is
Brands may change.
why this is gay, and I think that you might be the perfect person, Cody, to
Wait,
call
why
this out.
why it's gay?
Why it's gay? Yeah, why this is a bad idea. I'll share my screen. I can show you what I'm talking about. So I built I didn't build anything. I just asked Claude to do it for me, and then actually GPT is doing a better job. Like initially, like I guess started building this skill with Claude, but GPT is smashing it. And it does a way better job of getting it accurate. But yeah, I can replicate landing pages from pretty much any website, or the whole theme, the whole like store into a theme as like a baseline. For those people who, I don't know, want a reason from analogy, they say, hey, Momentous knows their stuff, Grunes knows their stuff. So I'll like use that as a baseline template. This is the opposite of what you were saying, Cody, right? Because this isn't a design system. You have to apply a design system on top of this because you have a bunch of brand like stuffed into this, right? If you're replicating an existing brand's website. But yeah, it seems like it's pretty good. You know what, like, and Momentous have this beautiful website that's like, it's so nice. So I was like, okay, you know, if I was selling supplements, could this be a good baseline, right, to work from? Because I'm not sure about you guys, but for my brand, I got Claude to make a bunch of landing pages from like scratch, and they were okay, but it was, you know, kind of really biased on the information that I was giving it as like, hey, do this. You know, I want a section with a slider that does this, or I want a section that looks like this on this website. Whereas this is like baking in a lot of the genius that's in these teams at, I don't know, Momentous or Grooms or whatever the target
I
page
mean,
is.
you're also just assuming it's genius. Like, I will see people knock off Jones Road stuff, and I'm like, that page is actually doing terribly. So I don't know. I just would be like really thoughtful about it and know that, you know, what you're doing and taking. But I don't know. It's like, what's the point if you're trying to knock off Momentous? Great. If you're trying to build a, you know, something for a new brand or whatever, like you gotta, you know, you really want to make sure that like it matches the design system. So that is so much of it. And I think I have a skill. I have a new landing page skill that I built and refined over time where like it'll take a page, I'll give it a new page, and it'll analyze it, and it'll essentially turn it into a wireframe, and then ask me like 3 or 4 questions like, what's the product, what's the persona, what's the traffic source, what's the angle, and then it'll just go and make it, and that's where it like will one-shot it. But obviously in whatever design system, whatever company I'm working on with that design system. So like for this new thing I'm building, spun up 3 landers, you know, this week, and they're built and trained on some of like the really good ones. So, you know, I think the designs, at least for me, the design system and like that context layer is the most important part.
Cody, have you spoken
Right,
to
the
any of
context
the
layer, the loop. It has to like inform itself, right? Because when you make 3 landers, you probably don't know which one's going to work the best, right? But the one that works the best is probably going to inform. It's going to be some data that informs, hey, what's the next landing page that we make? Yeah, I think that maybe that's a little bit more important than like time to product and reasoning from analogy. Is actually that competitive process of like, we made 3 landing pages, which one works best? What do we learn, and what's going into the next landing page that we make, right?
Well, I mean, yes, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like, if I'm just making it up, but if I'm Groons, right, it's cool that you can take a Momentous page and knock it off and create a new Momentous site in a day. But like, if I'm Groons, that doesn't help me that much. What helps me more, and maybe I shouldn't say brands, whatever, right? But if I'm Jones Road and I see a Groons page I love, like, how do I apply those fundamentals and get that to be a Jones Road page that quickly? And some of it is context, right? If you have, whether it's in HQ, whether it's locally, whether it's in a repository, and you have all of your stuff together, and then you have skills that are built on it, where you have a design system skill and a landing page building skill, you know, design skills, you can then say like, hey, that's a really cool thing I saw. I love that navigation that company's doing. Build us one for Jones Road. And it can even take qualitative and quantitative insights that it has. And it's like, all right, cool. Here are the things that we should merchandise based on, I have our heat map API revenue per click in there, or I have every survey the brand's ever done, so I know what the main, you know, objections are. And so what I found is like just dumping all of that stuff and have it be available by your agents. Like, you don't even know how it'll be used, but you can just, that's where then you can like do some of this like goal on codecs or like loops, because it has access to everything, and then you have to give it away to like self-verify.
Mm-hmm.
Cody, you should speak to the big labs
Chase,
and
what do you
build
think
them RL environments for creating marketing and landing pages.
Who?
Do you know, like Anthropic, OpenAI, they're all paying like 8 figures, no, not 8 figures, 6 figures for experts who can, the top ones are making 7 figures, but for experts who can build them basically environments to help LLMs learn how to do tasks. So, given you're probably one of the best in the world at building landing pages, design systems, conversion rate optimized pages using AI, you could probably build them a couple of RL environments.
I mean, man, if you
Pretty,
know anybody. So yeah,
that'd be
somebody
cool
when
to
I
do
left
in
Jones Road, somebody hit me up and they're like, hey, do you want to work at Anthropic or whatever? It was just like somebody not at Anthropic, and I thought maybe he like knew somebody, and he was just like, oh, I saw they're hiring, you should apply. I was like, I thought you were about to like make an intro. But yeah, so if anyone from Anthropic or OpenAI is listening, all right,
Right,
let's talk HQ. Jacob, I am getting frustrated because I'm using my mini, and I don't know if it's like the login issue, but sometimes I try to do a handoff and go from my laptop to mini, and it doesn't have access to it, even though I've done a handoff. Is that because it gets logged out? Do I have to run a sync? Because like usually it's just it's just handoff and then resume on the other device. Why does that sometimes not work?
can you check if autosync is turned on the Mini, and is it logged into the same account, and has the Mini has it gone through the full setup where it's got a fully configured cloud company on both device?
It should, because it works most of the time. It's just occasionally.
Mm,
So sometimes, like this morning, I submitted a bug. It was login issue, and then sometimes it's a sync. But it should auto sync, right?
yeah, no, it should auto sync. Um, it's the
All right.
same account. It's the same account.
Same account. Only one. All right, and then tell me about workers. I was Matt was telling me about workers, and then I was with Brett Curry earlier. He was telling me about workers. What are workers in HQ?
Oh, cool. Well, let's sort out your sync issue. We'll get on.
I think I figured. I don't know. I got that working.
No, we'll
I will figure that out.
We need to make that work. So we'll get the dev, put it in HQ dev. But so workers are, I think, a novel-ish HQ concept, where inside of Claude or Codex, skills just sometimes aren't sufficient as like primitives that you use for automation or for workflows, where a skill is meant to represent some automated task. And then people think like, okay, now agent, like I'm going to go from skill to agent, and agent is its own separate environment, its own separate personality, and a skill is just a file that I run on my computer. But even when I'm inside of Claude Code, even when I'm inside of Codex, I want my own independent specialists, even within that environment. Like, for example, I'm in Claude Code. I don't just want a CRO skill, I want a CRO worker. And a CRO worker can have many different skills. It can have an analysis skill, it can have a build skill, it can have a review skill. But the worker should also have its own knowledge base, and it should also have its own artifact section, and it should also have its own examples. So in HQ, when you create a worker, the worker is its own directory. It's got a configuration file which tells it who it is. You're almost like you're creating like your own little mini agent. And then it can have anything you want inside of there. So for example, for the CRO worker, it can have examples of previous outputs. It can have the design system directly embedded into the worker itself. And it's just a very clean way of managing context for specific vertical workflows or specific vertical automations beyond what a skill can give you. Because if you just stuff everything into the skill, which is what a lot of people end up doing, or they start pointing towards different folders that are scattered around the computer within the skill, then it gets confused. So that's how workers work. So Cody, I would start thinking about that CRO worker. And inside of HQ, there's a /new worker command, and then you go /run with the worker name to actually run the worker.
I'm so bad at like even when I first heard skills, or like even like took a while to get agents, like I feel like I have to do things to get the concept of it. Like to me, that's like the same as like a skill or even potentially an agent. So I have to like play with it to see. So like, what would be a use case for the worker versus an agent?
Worker, it's just, so the agent is Claude Code, or the agent is Codex, or the agent is Grok Build, and the worker is just a specialized workflow within that agent. So it's just the surface where you're working, not necessarily the task being done. Some people will, like, there's different ways of designing these systems. Like some people will have a general purpose agent, and then they'll have, for example, our workers within that general purpose agent. But some people will have specialized verticalized agents. Like some people will just create a CRO agent or a retention strategist agent or a chief of staff agent, for example. And in that case, there is less need for a worker because it has a verticalized task and verticalized context anyway. But for the general purpose ones like Claude Code, which is just inherently general purpose, you want ways to allow it to specialize.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that next. Like I have a Hermes, and so he's obviously hooked up to HQ, and like I've had him do a bunch of general things, but now is gonna go in there and start building some like more vertical agents, like a retention specialist or CRO one or something like that.
Yeah.
Like when do you go and when can you use an existing more general agent with just context versus like building out an actual agent for this? Because I see all these people are like, oh, I have this agent and I have that agent. Like, what's the benefit of each?
In my opinion, a huge value in having separate agents is just UX. Like it's just the experience of being able to tag a specific, like I know I'm going to tag this agent for this task. And it's often you could just tag the general purpose agent and you just give it one extra line in the prompt to say, now do the retention analyst workflow or something like that. But the experience of having different people, different personalities that you talk to for different tasks allow people to adopt AI a lot easier. That's the main one. And then the other one, which is less relevant to you, but relevant to our bigger teams, is that with HQ agents, for example, you can configure different permission levels for different agents. So certain teams want an agent that only has access to these API keys in this context, but other teams don't mind just having an agent that can do everything. So that's another reason why they want multiple different agents.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Dude, I want to see the UI for HQ because if it's as long as it's better than Claude, then I'm down. What do you guys think about the Claude UI and how it's? Do you guys use Claude, like as in the app, or do you use it in terminal? I mean, I guess Jacob, you're using it in HQ probably exclusively, right?
Well, I'm going to disappoint you. You use HQ inside of Claude, so the app is Claude.
No.
And- yeah, yeah. You don't change to a new surface.
But yeah, I can't get on board with this UI. Like home,
Oh, really?
code,
I mean, I'm
all
all
these different
code, but I'm
products,
very
design
used to it.
down here.
I like I don't know, I like Codex a lot, especially mobile. Like Codex just totally has it beat. One really cool
Codex is
tip
beautiful.
that Jacob showed me that I did not even realize is that you can run multiple models from a Claude app, and so that's been pretty sick. And so I've been running Codex from that as well, and Grok because if you have the Twitter subscription, so I built a skill like a bake-off skill, and so sometimes just to test and like sub it out, but the other times I'll like run a workflow. Like I was doing something in Shopify and couldn't figure out a bug and had I think I was in Claude at the time, but farmed it out to Codex and Grok. And like agents are like terrible at grading their own work. They're just like really easy on themselves. So like
Yep.
subbing it out and creating a workflow where you have different models or agents grading each other's work is like sometimes when you get stuck, it's been like a really, really good little tip. So hats off to Jacob for that.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
was,
mean, go ahead.
I don't know which one of us is delayed, but I feel like we're talking over each other. So I think it might be me. That's why I'm
It
like
happens.
that's why I'm taking like 10 seconds off the conversation. Anyway, I was getting cooked. I was doing some analytics work for a company and I was getting cooked because Claude wasn't coming up with good answers. So I built the most robust Codex reviewer, like data reviewer that will like check the API values and then check the data warehouse values and then run an adversarial review against the data and then make sure that the data interpretation is right versus anyway, super robust. Maybe I'll share that with you guys, but I run that within Claude. So I let Claude orchestrate and then Codex will actually run the review through the CLI in a separate sub agent in a separate process so that it's completely fresh context and there's no bias from the session that you're in with Claude.
That's smart too.
Also, you hand off. So you create a new shell and you hand off, or you do it within the, like you call Codex in the CLI. Like, how are you guys actually like functionally doing this? I see some people who are doing like they're working primarily in the Claude app or the Codex app, and like I'm back and forth with the Codex app because the remote feature is pretty rad. You know, being able to control the machines via the phone. But most of everything I do is in CLI. How are you guys like actually calling in another agent, calling in Codex, calling in Grok to do an audit or like double check something? Is that all in the context of CLI as well? Are you all in shells?
No, you can do the app. That's what I didn't know that Jacob told me. I think once he told me that, I just went to my Claude and was like, hey, I found out how you can do this. How do you do it? And I think it calls the CLI.
Yeah, just tell it
from the app.
Just tell it to do it.
That's killer.
Yeah, I did not know that. I had not seen anyone talk about that.
if you
This
want to have,
has this happened to you guys as well recently? I'm on like a max, whatever the max plan is of Claude, and I haven't been using Claude at all because I burnt through all my usage like, I don't know, a week ago. Oh wait, we lost Chase. Has this happened to you guys as well? Like I've pretty much been exclusively, GPT and Grok because my Claude usage has been down for days.
oh yeah, it happens sometimes. I haven't
Especially if you're
been
using
running on too
Fable.
much.
Fable will kill you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fable, fast mode, just like blasted through my credits. Yeah. I think I
A
got like,
great
you were allowed to use 50% or something. But yeah.
great user experience. Use Grok 4.5 as your sub agents with Claude. It speeds things up significantly. If you're doing like longer running tasks, Grok 4.5 is super fast, and you can invoke it via CLI the same way that you do with Codex.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I need to try that out. I need to try out Grok more. I didn't know you could get a plan through your like Twitter plan or whatever, your X plan.
Yeah.
But I think I hit a few prompts and it said, hey, you ran out, sign up. And I was like, I don't know. Did you guys hear about the Grok uploading everyone's repos thing?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
saw
is that
that.
like?
I don't even know at this stage. We're
Yeah,
open
it seems.
source, so not the worst thing in the world.
Right. Right. On the topic of open source, I wanted to ask you, Cody, you said that you had set up a Hermes agent. Um, Hermes is open source, right? And I did something funky because I kind of wanted what Hermes provides, but I didn't want to run everything through API. I think that Hermes, when it was first getting a lot of hype, you could only use it with API. You can use it with your accounts. So I just like added I just forked the Hermes into Claude and into Codex as like this self-learning, getting better tool. But then of course I'm leaving behind whatever new updates they make to Hermes. Are you guys getting a lot of value out of Hermes Agent?
I love mine. I got a mini because I was doing a lot of Claude remote control, and there were times where like my laptop is closed if I'm like going into New York or something like that I want to keep going. I found out by having that it's not that easy, or you can't really have two devices on Claude remote control, and you can't really start a new session. So I was like, all right, let me get a Hermes while I have the mini, right? So I can use it more. So I set up a bunch of stuff to sync them. And I wasn't sure, like anything that somebody showed me on their OpenClaw, I'm like, well, I can do that in Cloud Code. Like, I don't necessarily get it. But it's been really powerful. Like, and not instead of, like, I do all my coding and stuff like that in Codex or in Cloud. But, like, I just do a lot of, like, orchestration. And even, like I was in the car today listening to a YouTube video, and I'll just, like, yap and whisper flow, like, an idea. Like, I had an idea, and so I have, like, an ideas file in, one of the company's HQs. I'm just like, hey, save this ad idea. I think this would be a great idea. So it's like, for me, it's less of the builder. It's more of like the orchestrator, where like I'll Claude or Codex and build stuff. But so I had it running on Claude API for the first 2 days, and I was spending like $30, and I'm like, this is unsustainable. And I found out, somebody on Twitter told me that you can just run it in subscription. So that was the first time I actually got like an OpenAI Pro plan. And then I was like, well, I have it. Let me just start playing with Codex. And then it was my first Codex goal moment was just like mind blowing. And I was like all in on Claude before then. And I don't know now, especially with 5.6, like, I don't know. They both have value, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably go Codex.
Oh, 100%. I'm thinking of churning off of Claude. I haven't been using it for like 4 days while my usage has been out. And
Yeah.
I feel like every time I switch to Claude, it just fucks things up. And it takes so long to fix for Codex. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm seriously considering churning off of Claude. And if like Kimi's going to get good and Grok's apparently good, then I've got other options. I don't need to have Claude for like 2 days and then it's the weekly allowance or the monthly usage is all done, right? And
Until
my
they
projects
release.
are all fucked up. Until they
Your
release
what's
a
all
new
fucked
model.
up?
Yeah. And then my projects are all fucked up. Right? I'm not sure if this is, I have like a certain hit rate with my projects, right? Like with whether we actually achieved the thing that I wanted to get done. And I guess the problem with this is that sometimes they're running for 4 hours. or like 8 hours. And then after, we haven't made progress. Like it's actually gone in the wrong direction. There's been like a bunch of regressions. And I'm seeing that a lot recently with Opus and with Fable. So it's it's a weird one. You know, I'm running out of usage. It's done a load of damage. And then I'm like, okay, do I actually need Claude if I can just use different models that aren't gonna destroy everything and then leave, you know?
Yeah. 5.6 does that as well sometimes though. It's a smart model thing. They get like too hyper focused on some issues sometimes and aren't able to progress. This seems to be a problem with smart models.
Oh, I was gonna say it seems like a skill issue. I'm just kidding.
I mean, hey,
Sure.
there's
It
a
happens.
certain
It
hit rate to
happens.
everything, right? Yeah, but you know, there's a hit rate to everything, right? Like sometimes things go well, sometimes things go poorly. I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm very like hands off the steering wheel, and maybe this is the skill issue, right? After a certain point, I'm not going to provide any more context. Just like go, do the thing, right? Use best judgment, bypass permissions, YOLO mode, right? But hey, you know, I've got a little bit of freedom to do that, and then when it messes up, that's you know, I guess the non-desirable outcome. But the desirable outcome is you have 8, 9 agents running simultaneously, and they're actually getting shit done, right? It's just it's a little bit hit and miss. Every now and then, it goes the complete wrong direction, and you would be surprised, right? Like I'm building this thing right now, and it has a search function, right? For I can say what it does. Sources influencers across Meta, Snapchat, YouTube, and TikTok, right? Lots of brands are doing TikTok shops right now, but not a lot of brands are doing Meta because it's actually like really laborious, time costly to reach out to creators on Meta and get them onboarded and process them, right? To receive the content, to manage the payouts, you need a team managing it, or like at least a few people, who have processes in place. And yeah, so like it goes off, it sets up the whole Snapchat integration. We got full like API access through Snapchat. Snapchat are great. They're super easy to work with. But then it places all of the Snapchat creators above the results for the search, right? There's a clear table for where all of the creators are supposed to pop up with all of their data, right? In the, how much followers they have, what other platforms they're on. And yeah, it just puts all of the Snapchat creators in a separate card, right? Instead of in the results.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just I'm not sure if this is your experience too. Sometimes it just misses, in some ways, and in the process breaks everything, right? But hey, that wasn't the biggest mistake. That was easy to fix. It was just like, how this is obviously where the creator results are supposed to be, right?
Yeah, just gotta let Claude or Codex validate its work there. Let it open up a computer, have a look, and then it should hopefully loop around and figure out that it's wrong.
Were you guys jamming on this sort of stuff back in like August, September, October last year? Because I remember because I'm totally non-technical. I'm not sure about you guys. Copying logs out of Railway into Cursor to like fix things, and smoke testing manually myself, like actually opening up the app and checking every time something was deployed. Yeah, the fact that the app can smoke itself now is awesome.
Yeah, it makes a
way less
huge
me
difference.
involved.
Makes a huge difference. Like as much as you can to give an agent some verifiable way to evaluate its own work, changes things significantly. Like let it look at logs, let it open the website, let it run testing locally, or even with Codex computer use, it's so good now. Like there's just a lot of ways that you can really improve things. Yeah, I feel like the destinations didn't work on Twitter, and it didn't post to Twitter.
What happened?
The destinations thing didn't work. Like when you try open where it posted to, like it didn't post anywhere.
Oh, really? Hey.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be streaming. Let me check. Or it's streaming. We'll have the recording if it's just a. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
It didn't work for some reason.
We'll have the recording if it's not on your channel.
all Gucci.
Huh.
Like Cody probably had to bounce.
Weird. But I guess, whether we're streaming or not, we're uploading, we're recording.
Yeah.
Do you have the time to show me HQ? To give you context on my team, I have like just a couple people in the Philippines and in South America. A couple of devs, they're technical and they think I'm stupid. And a lot are design based, right? So they do like emails, they do like graphics and stuff, and they do the product images on our website. Until recently, I'm changing up the way that we do our product images. Would HQ be a good fit for us? I mean, there's 28 people on the team, only a few technical people, but I really want everyone to start using AI more, right? And stop using, Canva. They're using Canva for design stuff and Figma for design stuff, and it's not a problem because we've got like a bank of good resources and a good workflow is pretty efficient, the way that they're working in these design tools. But like the real problem is that they're not using AI as much as I would like them to be using it. And it's kind of hard to say, hey, open up a CLI, download Codex and just figure it out. So yeah, is HQ a good fit for us, or is it more for like, enterprise?
No, I think it is. I think it's even good for like for individual people. Like it's a better memory system with AI than just using Claude or Codex by itself. So yeah, I would say even for you to just try it out and use it, and then use the free one. I have to leave in 8 minutes, so I don't have time to. Onboarding would take more than 8 minutes, but I would say for sure just use it for yourself. It's probably a good fit for your team. Um, I'm actually curious because I just released a new desktop app. Um, so I'm curious to see how it goes. But
Is it
um,
easy to self-serve?
some people find it incredibly easy. Some people struggle. I think it just depends on how much AI you've been exposed to. So I think you'll be fine. Are you going through the app?
Yeah, yeah. I think if some people can figure it out, I think I can figure it out.
I mean, we also have a
So
tutorial. We have a
you said
tutorial. We have case studies, so you can follow the tutorial if you get lost.
I imagine it's one of those cases like as old as time where the people who struggle are the people who fly past the tutorial and ignore it, and they didn't listen to anything, and they go, "Fuck, how do I use this thing? What, how is this different from, I don't know, just Codex or Claude for
Yeah.
Teams or whatever?"
Try it.
Right.
See how it goes. Free.
Yeah, yeah, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. Are there any things that you think would be? Oh, this is a good question for you because, dude, I am struggling with this. I've spent so long. When I say I'm struggling with it, it's because Codex and Claude couldn't help me solve it.
Okay.
When I'm chatting to it, I'm like, fix this, and then it just builds a convoluted like release governance like process. But basically, I'm not sure how you are when you approach building for HQ or building for any of the clients of HQ, the businesses that you're working with. But I'm very additive, right? Like when I build something new, I want it to sit on the shoulders of everything else. I don't want dirty work trees, branches, all of this nonsense that I have to review the diffs. I'm not reviewing any fucking diffs, right?
Yeah.
I just want it
Yeah.
to go live, right?
Yeah.
And I guess like this simplistic, like the simple answer would be like merge and deploy like automatically, right? You don't want to deploy every time you make a change, right? But if this is what I was doing before, I was merging and deploying pretty much everything, and it was working, right? Like, it was fine, like nothing was getting left behind. But recently, especially when I have like, I don't know, 8, 10 things going at the same time, some stuff's getting left behind, right? And that's a headache, especially if I spent a long time on it. I'm like, fuck, I didn't realize, but this whole thing that I was working on for like 2 hours isn't in the app, right? It's on some work tree that never got merged, that never got deployed. Is this something that you've struggled with, found a solution for, seen with anyone else? Because like, man, it's the bane of my existence. And like I said, I tried to fix it with codecs. I was like, codecs, any branches, just fucking merge them. Like, I want everything to go live, right? I didn't work on anything that I don't want to actually go live, right? Like, because I worked on it. Then it just built this really like convoluted, long release governance testing QA cycle where it smoke tests, and that was like, it was just beefy. It was making like really quick things take like, I don't know, 20 minutes, 10 minutes to go live, and longer things take a lot longer. So yeah, have you got any thoughts on that problem, and any solutions for it?
I think a bit of it is like just building discipline about, if you work on something, just ship it. Like, don't let it hang. Like, if it's finished, then ship it. Um, I mean, I would just create a slash ship command. That's what we have. Ours does go through that whole like QA testing, smoke testing, like everything process, monitoring. It like creates a monitoring loop for like a few hours afterwards to monitor to check if anything's broken. But just like create a super simple one like slash ship. It just merges the branch in and then deploys your site, and then just add any new complexity you need on top of that, and just build the discipline around slash ship. Or if you were to use HQ, you would probably create a policy that said, whenever it seems like I'm done with a project, recommend I ship it, and then it would just ship it for you. Uh, that's the best way to do it, but there's no like really easy automatic way to ensure that everything is always going to be merged into main, because like by design, it's not meant to be everything to be merged into main by design. Otherwise, branches wouldn't exist. Um, or you could just always work on main, like levels, like Peter Levels does. Just always work in prod, always work on main, and then just all changes are all live automatically deployed because you're just working on the VPS that your app is running on.
Yeah. Hey, good shout, huh? Because it's not that everything is ready to ship on every change. It's when it's finished. So you just need a reminder that, hey, this is finished now, ship it, as opposed to this is finished now on this branch, in staging. Yeah, it needs to go live, right? I'm not sure about you, but like my entire process is, if I start on something, we're going to finish it, right? Even if it doesn't work the first time, we're going to hand off. I'm going to, see if Claude can hack it, or vice versa, right? I'm not building anything with the purpose of like leaving it on a branch, but that is the distinction here. Not everything is done, right? You could be, I don't know, 3 prompts in, versus, maybe it takes you 10 prompts to get to the finish line, and, twice as long. That's the only point where you want to merge it, right? Is when it's actually done, as opposed to at every, milestone, which is what I was doing before, right? Everything was always merging to staging, right? And then like, to production when it was actually ready, as opposed to existing on all of these different branches and then going, fuck, where's that work that we spent an hour on? Right. So did you say that the slash ship command in HQ, that just ships it, or does that do that whole process where it QAs it for you as well? And
It does the whole thing, but you could
listens.
build your own. It does the whole thing, but you could build your own. Um, just like tear it down to the bare minimum, like merge and deploy, and then add new things as you need them. Like, the reason why we need that is because we have a lot of users at this point, and so we want to make sure that we want to be certain about things when they land. But um, we also have a lot of we also have a lot of services. We're not just a monorepo, so there's complexity around merging that we need to take care of. But like, I would say, just start with the bare minimum of what you need and add complexity as things break.
That's a good shout, hey. Yeah, that's a good shout.
Slash ship. And if you
'Cause it's not
download
broken.
HQ and you go Shift Command O, sorry, Shift Option O, you go to our marketplace. Bear it with you. Go to our marketplace. Scroll to the bottom. You can see our engineering pack. And that's where you can install all of our different engineering commands.
Huh. Yeah, good shout on when it breaks, then fix it, because yeah, that's kind of what I'm in the process of doing right now. It's like, hey, why are we leaving work behind?
Yeah.
We worked on this for a reason. Let's get it live. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll check that out. And your marketplace is basically a collection of skills and workers and stuff.
Yeah, it's just a collection of packages, kind of like npm packages, that you can just anyone can install into the HQ.
Oh yeah, dude. Nice. All right, you said that you have to go. I want to meet you late for your next call. Catch you in a bit, dude.
Thank
Talk
you so
soon.
much. It's good to see you. Bye.
You too, man. You too. Bye.